Thanks for staying. Now, having seen their reactions, people are of the opinion that, things shouldn't have gone the way it did, and others are saying otherwise. With me here in the studio, without wasting so much of your time and keeping you in so much suspense, is none other than Ikenga Ugochinyere. You're welcome. He's with the CUPP and, of course, the very renowned IPAC. You're very much welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now today, on today's episode, we're not dwelling on the outcome of Osun elections, if what INEC did was right and wrong. We're looking to the way forward. You're quite an option for a guest because you're part of a group that has come out to say, 2019 elections is what's more important. We're going to come together as political parties and work with INEC to make sure, that happens. We will not deny the fact that everyone was looking to Osun elections to be that benchmark. And then there was relative success. One wouldn't necessarily say things went downhill, looking at how the event played out, right? Yes, there are different opinions on how the law should be interpreted and all of that, but then we're looking, to the way forward. Now the INEC has said this election is inconclusive, and we're going to have a rerun election, come Thursday, where things will be made, different. Let's look at that in line with the future. What do you have to say?
First of all, looking at the future and looking at Thursday, which is not up to 72 hours from now, two of them are related somehow.
Yes, very much.
But at the same time, Thursday is also a bit different. I will start by, first of all, I'm speaking today as the first national spokesperson of the coalition of the United Political Parties, the major umbrella body of the country's leading opposition parties. I will not be speaking for IPAC, that I'm their public secretary. I won't speak on as an APAC officer today.
Okay,
now,
why not?
No, because these issues, IPAC includes the whole 91 political parties. So when I speak as IPAC spokesperson, I'm speaking for both APC, and I can't speak as IPAC person today. I will speak as the voice of the opposition, as the chair and also the chairman of the Action People's Party. Now, first of all, you remember we issued a statement yesterday. I agreed with you, some aspect of the preparation was okay, especially arrival of materials was early on 22nd. Everything went very well. The accreditation was a bit okay. I think the big problem was the collection, which messed the credibility of the whole effort that INEC put in for the election. But I think there is, danger signs that will affect Thursday, and then at the larger level will affect 2019 preparation. And that was why the CUPP raised the alarm yesterday. We issued a statement, and that statement, had three key things. One, we told INEC that we are aware that the number of PVCs in the 7 polling unit that election will hold on Thursday is not 3,495, the number they are talking about. That the people that have collected PVC from our intelligence is not even up to 1,500.
Okay, quick question.
Yes.
From your intelligence, that's it. In response to that particular statement, that was issued, INEC has come out to say that you have to prove, such statements.
That's why I wanted to first of all tell you what was said yesterday, and also inform you what INEC said.
Very much.
The number is not up to 1,500. We now asked INEC, and we have asked this thing even the day the election was declared inconclusive. Give us immediately the list of people that have collected PVC. Remember, INEC have published this list at state levels to tell you what number of people have collected PVC in Osun, number of people have collected PVC in Bayelsa. They have this, that. Just give us that of the 7 polling. Let us know the number of people who at the close of collection, few days before the election, has taken PVC in these areas. This is very, very important. Because right now you are saying that the total number of registered voters where you are going to do rerun is about 3,000 something. But we know that PVC collection is still at 60%, 50%, 70% level. So tell us the number so that we now know the actual number of people that their vote will matter on Thursday, because it's not 3,500 before somebody goes to manipulate the election. And then we raise issues of that some people are tampering with the issue of collecting the telephone numbers of these areas to start calling them. And also raise the concern that some of the members of the opposition are being arrested like in Oshobo. Now, what surprised me was yesterday, INEC reacted to say the statement the CUPP issued was baseless, and so on. You see, if you say my statement was business, what I had expected Professor Mahmoud Yakub, my very good friend, to do was to hand me the list of people who have collected the PVC. Because what I'm saying now, they are buying time, and not him in particular. The people who are doing this are buying time, because this argument with which INEC is saying my statement was basically, I had expected INEC, is a public document. Give us the number of people that have taken this PVC immediately, before somebody goes to use those uncollected PVC to manipulate, and also assure us publicly that you will not use incident form. Because if the PVC is tampered with, the next thing that will happen, like as we are hearing, is that incident form, because this evidence you say I should give him, is it when they start using incident form in the 7 polling that I will give him the evidence?
Okay, now quick question.
Yes.
The INEC being an independent electoral body, one would expect that there's some level of trust that has been, placed. And let's look at precedents. We're talking precedents because that's what leads us to the event of today. We saw this play out in Kogi State. So why the uproar? Why the sudden? It is there where there's a lacuna in the Constitution, then the Electoral Act can fill in. But there was no specification for the margin, being higher than the number of votes that the winner used to supersede the other. But the Electoral Act has stated this provision. And now they're going by the same provisions that they have in the past. Why is this noise happening now?
First of all, you say trust. Yeah, we'll have some trust on the side of Professor Mahmoud Yakub. But do we trust the people under him who are working with him? Let me say why the issue of trust should be put in the dustbin at this moment. Was it not INEC officer, an INEC officer, including the EO, that went to Ayedede local government and deducted 1,000 votes that was scored by the PDP and sent another INEC officer to go and tear it from the wall before the vigilant young men caught him? This is the agency you want us to trust. They were the one, not even APC. They were the one who deducted that number to favor APC before we grabbed them. Even the woman who is the EO have not been arrested. Yes, they have Mr. Kolawole, the young man who went to go and tear it up. But the man is telling you that somebody called him from Oshobo to go and remove it from the wall so that they can perfect the art of tampering with the 1,000 vote. Now we'll go over to the issue of Kogi. Have two examples. One, let's take the recent one in August 2018. When Honorable Issa Haruna, that ran for the House of Representatives in Lokoja Kogi Federal Constituency, at the end of the election, Issa of APC scored 26,000 something. The PDP person who lost the election scored 14,000. So there's a winning gap of 12,000 votes. That's what the APC guy is winning with. But the number of votes cancelled by the INEC was 19,000. But what did INEC do in Lokoja Federal Constituency? They went ahead and declared Issa Haruna the winner of the election, and he has been sworn in as a member of the Federal House of Representatives. Is it because he's from APC? Because there's 19,000 cancelled votes, and you have declared the winner with 12,000. Don't you know that the 19,000 can still influence the election? So on this one of 353 or thereabout, you are not telling us you want to do what they call it.
Okay, now let's talk about the allegation that was made. Yes, vote buying was greatly curbed. In this election, there was minimal, but there were allegations of the PDP, sending money into the account of voters way before, the process started, a day before. What would we say with the opposition having to go, with the accusation that they influenced some set of people, even as INEC is trying to prevent that?
There is two types of vote buying. One is direct vote buying. Another one is indirect vote buying. The indirect vote buying happened in large scale than indirect vote buying. Let me give you the indirect vote. When the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, went to Osun and started his program, the program they called the Farmers Market Women something, and was sharing 10,000 few hours to the election. You could have continued with other parts of the country that have not, my state have not gotten the money. Why go to Osun that will have election few hours and start telling them 10,000 to support that? That's indirect vote buying. Then let's go over to the President Muhammad Buhari, who released the 16.6 billion naira Paris crowd refund to Ali Boshela. Then he started crediting people's accounts so that he would look like a good person. So there is indirect vote buying happening in large scale because it was aimed to influence. These people, you have not paid their salary for 3 years. All of a sudden, few hours to election, you start crediting their account so that they collect their salary. What are you trying to do? To influence them to see you as a good person when you are actually the person who has punished them for 3 years. Okay,
that's the beauty of democracy. The fact that there will be opposition views and divergent views like yours, to come out and say, okay, this is what you're doing wrong, this is not what you're doing wrong. But we cannot deny the fact that all of these measures that you just listed have impacted the lives of the ordinary man. We choose to believe that the people and our audience that are watching know, their rights and they cannot be influenced in some sort. They know that, okay, this is what is due to me, and when I will receive it or accept it, that doesn't mean that I have to go do, things differently. We only hope, that opposition like yours create the right platform for there to be options. that's the beauty of it. For there to be options for us to choose from, we would see the events, because we're looking to 2019, the events that has trailed, you know, the Osun elections, the aftermath, and, you know, coming together. Okay, recently, just, you know, yesterday, Saraki was sent to go visit, you know, Omisore and ask for, you know, some sort of collaboration and all of that. That is the beauty of democracy, where the opposition can come and join forces for the rerun. Let's talk about one significant thing. The PDP has gone to court for this particular. How do you feel about this? Being that, having in mind, rather, that this could be a deterrent and could affect the smooth running of the rerun come Thursday. Looking at it at, why not allow things go smoothly? Why try to disturb the process right now?
No, they're not trying to disturb the process. There is a constitutional aberration, there is a constitutional violation, even though the PDP and the coalition is going into the election on Thursday. And before Wednesday, you will see the announcement for the coalition. We're going into the election as a united front to clear up this place and bring this victory home. But what I want you to know is that, you see, the Electoral Act is clear and the Constitution is clear. The conditions spelled out to declare a delegate the winner of the Osun election was clear. But INEC decided to bend the rule because it involves the opposition. Let me give you an example. Once it is cancelled vote, in the case of Oshimole versus Osumba in 2007, I think, the Supreme Court had that once it is cancelled, you cannot bring it back. It's just like when you say 49,000 votes were voted in Australia, you say, okay, let us reconduct it to help those people. Like getting me. Once it's cancelled, for instance, in Ife, one of the Ife, where you have 350-something votes that they say was overvoting, if it's overvoting, it means that accreditation and voting have been completed before you cancel. Going by the provision of the Electoral Act and also the judgment of the Supreme Court, you're not supposed to say you are going to do rerun in the place where there was overvoting. Then you go to Oshobo, where they have finished voting, and then I think the INEC officers they walked away with the material. Those areas are not supposed to come back. The areas you're supposed to do rerun is the areas where election did not hold at all for a fault that is not the fault of the people in those areas.
Let's look at it. Yes, you're talking about not being the fault. For example, there happened to be some sort of irregularity. I come out as an electorate, I want to vote, and then maybe I turn print and I fold my ballot paper, and it comes and turns as, you know, multiple.
Yes.
And they cancel that. I have been denied my franchise.
Yeah, and that's, exactly.
Don't you see the rerun as a procedure to correct that?
The law is very clear. Even if interpreting in between the two, you know, the logos, are you getting me? It's called the voided vote. It's cancelled. You cannot have the chance to go back for it. So that is why they are saying that the areas you're supposed to do those rerun are areas that people came out for a fault that is not their own. Are you getting me?
And that's what they
did not
listed.
even get to do accreditation in the first. But you have done accreditation, you have done your voting, but you just, you know, misplaced the balloting, or somebody carried another balloted material and put, and you have overvoting. Those ones are cancelled. Supreme Court have decided.
Are these not human-made? Are these not human-made?
Election cannot be perfect. It cannot be 100%. After all, there is 1.6 million registered voters in Osun. The people that decided the last election is about 600,000. So are you going to say, let us wait for the remaining 900,000 people to come home and vote? No. Once there is a simple majority that comes out and fulfills the provisions of the law, then you go ahead and declare a winner. But the point I'm trying to make is that, why will INEC, that few months ago, in the case of Kogi State that I'm telling you, that declared Issa winner when there is 19,000 cancelled votes, come out after less than 2-3 months again and say they will do the run on 353 votes, knowing that if INEC has done the right thing by doing the right calculation and stopping elements like the people who deducted votes in Ayedede, these figures would have closed, the gap would have been closed. There would be no need for this rerun. And like I said before we even talk of a successful election on Thursday and the bigger election in 2019, INEC should always be swift in clearing doubt, because now he who goes to Ekutu must go with clean hands. In this matter now, INEC have no clean hands because their officials were involved in the actual deduction, that criminal act. So therefore, when we raised the allegation yesterday, I had expected the same energy the INEC chairman used in replying me and describing my allegation as baseless. He should have published the list of people who have collected PVC. Aisha, you know why I'm telling you this thing? If you don't give us this list, because when they do their wuru, they can tell you that, oh, 2000, in short, PVC collection in the 7 polling unit was 100%. So they can manipulate the election, because the people we are contesting with are so desperate. They are going to do everything possible to see if they can close the margin we are leading them with.
Okay,
so give us these figures so that there can be trust as we go to 2019 and also
let's look at the effects of that allegation, you know, on the populace and the people in general. If, like they said, there should be some sort of proof, because even ordinary Nigerians were very interested, you know, in the allegations that were brought up. Okay, this is happening, but we need to hold ourselves accountable with some sort of leeway. He's come out to say there should be you know, some sort of proof. Let's see that, okay, this is what is going to happen. Because you can't seem to curb every single statement, every single voice cannot be silenced. And it's, of course, expected from the opposition.
No. You're making it look like the opposition likes to raise wider.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we should consider the ordinary Nigerians.
And let me also draw you back to a few days before the commencement of it. We raised an allegation that some INEC officials are in cahoots with the APC, that they are going to doctor the result. Now you ask me to produce evidence. How will I have produced the evidence in a year that somebody with the method he will use is 1,000? All the chairman would have done was to rein in his staffs and warn them that anybody that tampers with the result that is already announced, I will make sure you are prosecuted and sent to jail. I don't know whether they did that. And that's why the young man in Ayedede and their group went and removed 1,000 before they were caught. Okay, let me tell you, if we did not catch them red-handed, because those young men have engaged in a technical vigilance, are we going to be saying this thing now? That one would have passed, and they will say, oh, opposition is making wide allegations. Now I'm shouting again since yesterday, saying, give us the list of people who have collected PVC. You say I should give you evidence. The evidence I'm giving is that I don't have it. I have given the evidence. I don't have it, Professor Mahmoud Yakub. Give us the list of people who have collected PVC, because we are hearing that these people are going to tamper with an uncollected PVC and make up the number. But if you give us the list right now, we will know the number that is in question on Thursday. If it is 500 votes, if it is 1,000 votes, then we know that election is going to be for 1,000 registered voters who have collected PVC, not 3,500 and something. Is it difficult for INEC to give them? They have released it across the whole 36 states. Just give me the breakdown that is in your system to help us in our planning. But they have refused. And that is the evidence to back up my allegation. And I expected the spokesman of INEC chairman, instead of attacking me, to have said, oh, here is the list. And as I speak to you now, we don't have the list.
Okay, quick question. Let's see how this would have played out if Osun has happened the way it has happened, and you've come up with your, views, and as a group, of course, come up. Let's look at the ordinary Nigerian out there who is looking to Thursday. Thursday is going to happen. We can't stop that at this point. Yes, the PDP are in court, but Thursday is going to move forward, and it's the decision on Thursday that's going to determine, who comes out the winner of Osun State. Let's look towards, like I said when the program started, we're looking towards 2019, how this is affected and will affect 2019. What are your suggestions positively for INEC to take? We've already established the fact that you believe that this is what's going to happen and this is not what's going to happen. But at this point, we cannot change it unless there's an injunction, of course, with the PDP in court and all of that. But at this moment when we're speaking, we're looking to see the rerun happen on Thursday. What measures, what are your expectations that when it happens could lead to a successful declaration of a winner in Osun?
Transparency from the part of INEC. Transparency, that's all. And the security agencies to stay clear of either this idea of arresting some members of the opposition a night before. No, don't do all those so you don't rub on the credibility of the election. Put the ballot, secure the voters, tell us the number of people who are going to the election, and whoever wins or loses, it will be very clear. Because as long as I know that you in the opposition is boasting, the CUPP members that went to that election constitute almost two-thirds of what happened at that election. So if we come together, it will be difficult to defeat Adeleke. And it's already happening. You can see the legwork, the Senate president, the fantastic legwork he has done already. He has met with Mishere, who is a very long-standing ally of his, and they have had some serious conversation. The SDP is a member of the CUPP, just like the ADC, just like the PDP, just like my own party that came seventh in the election. All of us before Thursday will make a categorical statement. The area in question is a stronghold of the PDP and the SDP. Yeah, the APC has some foothold there as well. So when we come together, it will be clear if the election is conducted free and fair, that it will be difficult. I'm not saying it will be difficult for you to defeat the coalition in that election. But coming to other things that will make us, have a free and fair election, not just only on Thursday, but also in 2019. One is on the issue of accreditation. Now, I can tell you that we are happy that INEC insisted on the last one. It's not all the time we condemn INEC. We are happy that the chairman insisted that candidate must be used for accreditation. This helped to reduce, the rigging that comes with the incident form. That was a good decision. But, that is not a legal directive. That is why the amendment to the Electoral Act that you see made the provision that the use of candidate must be constitutional. I had expected the president to help these people fast track this process. Instead of each time this thing is sent to him, you wait till the 30 days will run out and then he sends it back. So the thing that will help us have a free and fair election, INEC is already doing it. But they should do more to ensure, one, that the accreditation is still going to be by the card reader, that the rumor we are hearing that incidents one will be reintroduced, let it just remain a rumor, let it not happen. And also, he should secure and monitor collection so that that what happened, whereby after voting and result is declared in the polling, maybe on the way to the next collation center, somebody will want to do a deduction like in Ayedede, that will destroy, because once collation fails, whatever you do, whether the materials arrived early, people voted, that becomes inconsequential. And more importantly, like I said, once the parliament reconvenes on October 9, members of our coalition who are in control of the parliament have assured us that the first thing they will adopt is the amended electoral act and the INEC budget, and then send to the president. Once President Muhammad Buhari signs the 2018 amended electoral act, that means card reader will be used for automatic transmission of accreditation. It will also be used for automatic transmission of result. So, like the deduction you saw in Ayedede, INEC would not have been involved in that back and forth argument. All they needed to check was to check the back end of what was transmitted from Ayedede at the moment the election ended, and there won't be any problem, what happened on the way to Oshobo that made the deduction to happen. So you can see that the use of the card reader, especially automatic transmission of the result, automatic transmission of accreditation, and also that even if when the election is in dispute, you are going to use the back-end printout of what was transmitted as an evidence that will be tendered in tribunal. So it won't be like the Supreme Court that nullified or refused to nullify some governorship election because they said the candidate was not recognized by the law. Some of the governors you are seeing today won't be in office if the candidate was recognized as a legal instrument, because the Supreme Court said we cannot take the evidence from the candidate because it's not a legal instrument. So now this will solve the problem. And also there's a provision for INEC staff that gets involved in deduction, like you saw that happened the other day. There's 2-year sentence if you remove what was actually declared in the polling unit. So now INEC officials will now know that if you go and connive with corrupt politicians and tamper with the figures, you are marching straight to Kuje at the end of the day. You will be jailed. So these things will help to, build confidence, and strengthen our electoral process, and ensure that in 2019 that all these threats you are seeing that is going to lead to crisis and civil war and all those things will not happen, because the electoral process will be transparent.
All right. Now let's primarily concentrate on 2019 in view. There's a lot that has been happening, lately in the polity, and one of which quite significant is the postponement of the resumption. People have come out to say, okay, you're trying to. One of such salient voices was on People's Television, Aisha Yusufu, coming out to say that the Senate President is, with this action, taking his personal politics and putting Nigeria on hold. Do you share the same thought?
That statement, with all due respect, is baseless. Today was supposed to be the APC presidential primaries. That's September. Today is September 25th, right? And it was just yesterday that they shifted it to September 27th. Yeah. And on Saturday, the primary process will start. Most of the senators and rep members are in their constituency. They are digging in on how to get the delegates. Nobody's here in Abuja, and nobody's going to come here in Abuja. If the parliament have started today, they will say, oh, Bukara targeted them the day that they are doing their presidential primaries, and then decided to open the chamber so that he would do some. See, these people, there's nothing you do to satisfy them. The most important thing that was the reason for the shift legitimate. The reason was legitimate because all the members of the parliament, whether from the PDP, whether from the APC, are all engaged in their constituency for a primary election. And to every position, primary election is like your foundation. If you, go and stay in Abuja and let your opponent take the delegates. So everybody is there digging it out against Saturday and against the after Saturday. So there's nobody that is in Abuja. So you may end up not having quorum. And both people from APC and PDP all supported. They had a management meeting, which includes all the principal officers, includes the opposition officers. Everybody agreed that you need to shift because it's not going to work. We're not here in Abuja. You see, this idea of what is Bukola Saraki's personal policy they keep talking about? There is no personal politics here. There is a provision under Section 50 that have defined how a principal officer can be removed. All the people who are speaking on this matter negatively are people who don't want to go through the provision spelled out in the Constitution. Under Section 50, subsection 2, the removal of the Senate President or the Speaker requires a resolution of not less than 2/3 of members of the House or Senate, which is 73. You see, the argument and the tension you are seeing is because people don't want to accept the fact that it is 73. So in trying to dabura it, they are trying to look for a way to go inside the chamber, and even if they have 15 or 10, they impeach. And that's why Wuna said, go and look at the judgment of the appeal court in the case of Ebele Chukwu versus Asogo in 2002-3, when Chimaroke Naman and Jim Woboda was having a problem. There was this Abuja lawmaker, the lawmakers they took to Abuja. One early morning, they took them to Enugu House of Assembly and impeached the speaker, Ebele Chukwu. He went to court, saying that they did not go through the due process. The people that impeached him were 16. And the actual number that were members of the parliament excluding the person that is on suspension, is 15. And for you to have two-thirds in Enugu State House of Assembly, it is 16. So the matter in court was whether they comply with the provisions of Section 90 that has to do with removal at the level of State Assembly. And the court ruled on that matter that the two-thirds that the Constitution is talking about is the two-thirds of the entire members of that House. Now go to appeal court ruling. Remember when Galen Abba and Anyim Pius were Senate President and Speaker, they were having running battle with President Olusegun Obasanjo in 2002. They went as far as amending the Electoral Act. Obasanjo said he will not sign it. They vetoed him. In the Senate, they had 50 senators who voted against it. And then in the House of Rep, they had 204 who voted against Obasanjo withholding his assent. And they passed it into law. Obasanjo went to court. And the appeal court now ruled that the two-thirds that the Constitution is talking about is two-thirds of the entire membership of the Senate. And the appeal court says 73. And on the level of the House of Rep, it is 240. Because the argument then was that since the word all, look at the bone of contention where we are having this problem. Whether Oshomola, all these people who are making this argument. Removing a president said all senators. Removing a Senate president said members of the Senate. They're saying because the word all is not there, you can use the provision that talks about simple majority.
Okay, let's look at how other important issues. Let's see how. Now we know that this is the eve of 2019 elections, and of course, the expected campaign will be going on and all of that. What happens to governance? What happens to real governance? I think that is where some people are coming from that point of view. What is the lacuna now in this process where you have the Senate president, also an aspirant for a party that, of course, where we have all our leaders or representatives taking, the actual governance at this point, taking the back seat, and campaigning and politicking as taking the front seat. How that affects the ordinary Nigerian.
Aisha, before I answer that question, I want to remind you that, I'll tell you where we got it wrong. When we joined the coalition in 2014 to root out President Goodluck Jonathan, we believe that President Buhari was committed about the issues of security, anti-corruption, and rebuilding the economy. And we all went together. Everybody, both Kwankwaso, Bukola Saraki, all of us in the new PDP joined to be able to bring the victory. Because they have been contesting this election for over a decade. They have never won it until we came, and then we won with a slight margin of 2.5 million votes. Now, look at where this problem started that got us into all this mess. At the moment the parliament was being proclaimed, the president we had expected would have shown leadership, called everybody together. Even if he had a preferred candidate, there is channels of communication in the party to get this thing right. But some people were doing some, what they call in my Igbo language, some muchi kind of thing. And then when the Senate president emerged, the war started. I had expected them, if they were serious about development, to let go the process and the procedures, how we arrived at this, whether the party had their way or not, and look at the bigger picture. And the man extended the olive branch to them. You saw he passed all their financial bills. He supported them. He goes to them. Even when they put him in the dock for the CCT trial, he finishes and he goes to see the president and pledges his loyalty. But it looks like their mind were made up that they must bring him down. And in trying to bring him down, we got to where we are today. That 3 years, we were not able to fulfill what we promised to the Nigerian people. And that's why you see the real element of these forces. That people who believe that there is need, this thing is not working, let's go another way so that we can be able to fulfill the yearnings of our people. And today, at the end of the day, after 3 years, Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. That's the achievement they have brought.
So indirectly, we're trying to say that, the process of campaigning and personal politicking taking preeminence over governance is something that
it should not. No, it should not. They should have left the policies of, post-2015 parliamentary election. They should have left the policies of who is in control and not in control and focus on governance. Singling him out and singling people who are associated with him out. Now look at the energy the police wasted on people like Dino, on people like him, on people like even Shehu Sani, trying all sorts of charges. That's the time they would have used to do intelligence gathering, to stop the rampaging bandits in Zamfara, to stop the killing in Plateau. They were busy following political opponents. Look at what the DSS was doing. Look at the energy that was put in attacking parliament and parliamentary building. At the end of the day, you forgot that Section 14 said the primary responsibility of governance is the protection of lives and property. And after 3 years, we were unable to protect lives and property effectively. And now, primary election must definitely come. That's why some people are saying single tenure. Because once you elect a leader, after 3 years, the next thing will be about seeking mandate to go back, and which starts with primary election. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't tell parliamentarians not to go back and seek for their primary ticket for them to be able to contest and continue to serve. But what is distracting all of us is that some people does not want to accept that this man has been elected Senate president. And they did not also want to go through the process of removing him in accordance with two-thirds. They wanted to remove him based on their own conviction that you can use, once parliament is convened with one-third, under under section 54, which is 37 senators. You use 2/3 of 37, which is about 22 senators to impeach him. And that's why you have the argument. But I strongly believe, like Jonathan did during his time, even when he lost an election, that today we're beginning to see that there was some things that, was not clear, like the use of incident form to count most of the vote. But the man still said, okay, fine and good, let's move on. Imagine where he has said, I will not accept the figures from Kano, from Kaduna, from Katsina. You know what would happen to the country? Would have been in a mini civil war over that. So at times, leaders should put, public interest, national interest above, political interest of who is winning and who is losing. That's why you're seeing the desperation. That's why you're seeing all these crises that at the end of the day, if it is not effectively handled, will mess our democracy as you're seeing up. So 2019 is very important to the survival of our oneness, to the deepening of the principles of our constitutional governance. And I expect, the ruling government to show some maturity, because they are the one that is causing this. They should show some maturity. Yes.
Okay, now finally, 2019 is just around the corner. What should the electorate look forward to? We already are in the quagmire that is right now. There's the back and forth between who wants to impeach who and who should not impeach who. Presidential primaries are, on the way. The oppositions are at loggerheads. What are we looking to?
I will not speak from the angle of the CUPP, so you will say it is me that is saying.
Okay,
I will start by saying, if the Nigerian people want the country...
Okay, hold that line of thoughts. We have a call there from Osun Election. He's going to just quickly give us a rundown of Osun. He will tell us what we're looking forward to for the rerun. Hello, Osun.
Hello?
Hello there, Osun. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, you're in PTV Situation Room. And while we're trying to round up the program, we realized that you were on ground in Osogbo and you observed all that had been happening. You were there when this result was declared inconclusive, and you were there when INEC, made the statement that it did make. Quick question. Do you approve, do you support that statement that the election was inconclusive?
Okay, so quickly, nobody has the right to agree or not to disagree.
Okay.
The authority saddled with the responsibility of declaring election is INEC. The law gives INEC that power. No matter whatever you think, INEC, that power is the sole prerogative of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. So whatever anyone think, you just have to follow the one with the status of declaring or whatever. So what INEC has done in this case is to declare the election inconclusive, because the margin of vote between the winner or the first runner-up and the second runner-up is less than the total number of area where results were cancelled. So there are 7 units where poll was cancelled, and all of that total about 3,400 registered voters. And the margin of vote between those two parties is about 300 plus. So the question is to find out, is the margin of vote correct?
Okay.
If you have evidence to suggest that the margin of vote is higher than the number declared, then you cannot argue. But this is not the first time
such is happening. All right, Osun, quickly, a final question. What are we looking forward to for the rerun come Thursday? Everyone is looking at, okay, that is what is happening. Even though the PDP, are in court right now and trying to, go over the whole process and get an injunction. What do you expect to see? You're going to be on ground on Thursday. What are we expecting to see? Having had a personal one-on-one with the INEC officials, what are we looking forward to?
Election is going to hold on Thursday. It will conclude the vote of 22nd of September 2018. So 7 units will be running elections, and the people in those units will be coming out en masse to vote. But as tradition will be, we will expect 100% turnout. But give and take, from what we saw in Osun on Saturday, we probably will experience up to 60-70% of turnout. So give and take, we may go close to 2,000 voters. That's a lot of votes. So parties, the APC, PDP, we have to do their job. As you also know, they are all politicking, their alignment is happening. The missionaries are at the center of this all alignment. So the election is going to go on. But my advice for the parties, even if you are in court, it doesn't stop you from participating in the election, in the electoral process. Get prepared, go and ensure, go for the vote, go for the voters, ensure that you get them. Just get them out.
All right. Thank you very much there, Osun. Thank you very much. It's been an insightful one.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, now back to you, Ikenga. Finally, in less than 20 seconds, you were going to sum up what we're looking forward to, what we should do right in 2019 while we wrap up the program.
If you are happy And or if you are not happy with the prediction of HSBC, which is one of the global banks, especially in Europe and Asia, that if the APC government led by Buhari returns back, the economy of Nigeria will completely crash like a plane from the sky. If you are also not happy with what the economy said and with what the World Economic Forum said, that Nigeria today is the worst in electricity generation, below Yemen. If you also agree also that the World Index report, the World Press Freedom Index report, that Nigeria is on the red zone, and also on the World Justice Report in terms of abuse of human rights. And today you believe in what the Brooklyn Institute have said, that this place, Nigeria, is now the poverty capital of the world, with over 85 million people, as said by Theresa May, poor. If Nigerians, you are convinced that these things are true, not as me from CUPP is telling you, if you believe that these things are true, then give the coalition your vote, and it will be better for the country.
All right, thank you very much there, Ikenga. Now, for want of time, this is a wrap, and I don't think there's any better way for us to end today's episode, where you realize as the electorate that the power is yours. We've listened to how, we shouldn't take a side. We don't have the Independent National Electoral Commission should, as independent as they are, be allowed to do their work. But that also does not prevent us from being a watchdog and calling out, nay statements where we see some kind of shady. I think this is the beauty of democracy. I think this is the beauty that is going to help know that Nigerians need transparency, and transparency, of course, is the only benchmark that democracy can be successful. It has been a wonderful episode, and I would love to remain, but I would keep all that I have for you. Same time, same station next week. You've been on PTV Situation Room. I am Aisha Jibril. Bye for now.